All right, everybody, welcome into another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. See, we already got 11, Trev, so let's roll
get it
right
going
into it, man. Hey, so obviously week 0, what a beautiful, ugly, disgusting, just every type of thing you can think of, appetizer of football. It's really what it was. I know some people don't believe in, week 0 starts football. Obviously we had football, so it is, but it's not. It's like an appetizer, and I just want more, and it's almost not fair. Trevor, how you feeling after watching week 0 there?
Well, if I'm being honest, I'm super happy because I had some good things happen to me this weekend with the picks and the gridlock and just about everything.
And I'll tell you what, it's the first time doing a live show in a little bit, so we're rolling with it, and it's good seeing the comments rolling up in the sidebar here. So the friends are in the comments on Facebook and talking trash already. We'd love to see it. But we're going to hit, the games that played this weekend, obviously just do quick overs, and we'll answer comments if you guys drop them, whether it be on YouTube or Twitter or whatever, we're, we're going to answer them there. And so I'll try to be moving around and maneuvering, seeing what I can find. All right. So Trev, we're going to go off and just get right into the first game, Iowa State, Kansas State, number 22 versus number 17 out of the preseason poll there. And really the expectation was, Kansas State had the betting advantage, right? They were a 3-point favorite, but it was rainy, it was messy, and we were like, okay, whoever runs the ball the best is probably going to win it. And obviously who avoids the turnovers. And we said in the show last week, it's going to be sloppy. It's the early people trying to figure out what's going on. The team's trying to gel. And God, some of the coaching decisions too, man, it was just nasty early. Muffed punts, pitches in the rain. Why are we doing this in 2025?
Well,
and the goal line.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Look, I do feel for the coaches in their decision making because the first half of that game, especially, the field was soaking wet. You could tell there was not really good footing anywhere on that field. You could tell that was a situation that all the players were having to deal with. But you're right, the coaching decisions were at times questionable. But I do understand the need for wanting to keep the ball moving, try and get more points.
Yeah,
But at times I'm just like, I think you could probably, settle for a field goal maybe.
Yeah.
Or at least made an attempt at it. I know the footing was bad and that was your concern.
Yeah.
But
no, I think even for me, especially on the Kansas State side, running more, that's what I wanted to see even early. I know for Avery Johnson, the passing numbers looked fine on the box score, scored 21 of 30, 273, 2 touchdowns, some were on blown coverage, whatever. It still happened.
Right.
But he can run the ball. And he got eight carries for 21 yards. Yeah, he scored a touchdown, but I would have liked to see them lean on that a little bit more. And when you go back and you look at Iowa State side, they rushed it for 46 times. They controlled the clock. And in the end, that's what wins you the game. Yes, passing numbers are great, but it doesn't matter if you can't finish.
Yeah.
So, that to me, that was such a frustrating thing watching Kansas State. Now I know Dylan Edwards went down, on that
Yeah,
punt
that's what I was
return,
about to bring that up because I was just double checking my notes because I was fairly certain that he got knocked out for that entire game and he is
yeah,
their primary back.
he is.
Um, and
But
he's got that game changing stuff where I don't think any of the backs behind him really have that intangible.
yeah, I mean he's quick, he's elusive, he's definitely a game changer type, but still, I mean, you've got an offensive line that did have some question marks coming in. But when it's raining, it's throwing down like that, to me, you just lean on it. Try to do some pop passes, sneak it in somewhere. And that's what you saw Rocco Beck and Matt Campbell and them do on that side. Was their game plan, I thought, was really impressive, and they were out for blood.
Yeah, they
Uh,
definitely adjusted well to the
yeah,
conditions.
they
Way
certainly
better
did.
than Kansas State did.
Especially early on. And even in the third quarter, Kansas State did nothing,
Right.
and Iowa State was still able to finish off and get a touchdown on that quarter.
Yep.
But the other side of it, defensively, I thought both were flying around. They were flying all over the ball. Kansas State at least got some sacks. I mean, 4 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. Iowa State had 7 tackles for loss. So I mean,
Yeah.
these guys were getting after it, and defense usually, after an offseason is ahead of the offense.
Just saying, I called that in the show prior. I'm just
You
saying
did.
this was going to be initially a defensive game, and
Yeah, I mean, hey, it was.
tune my own horn a little bit, but whatever.
And then people were like, "Hey, this thing's a snoozer." I'm like, "No, this is beautiful.
That's
It's
a good game.
disgusting.
That
I
was a
love
good
it."
game.
And look, it opened up in the second half. It
did.
did. There was more passing. I mean, obviously, as weather decreases, and Avery Johnson was able to rack up 273. But
Well,
still,
I was about to say that. I was like, if you would have told me that Rocco Becht was going to outperform in almost every way Avery Johnson, not by stat wise, but just sheer performance,
yeah,
I would have told you were crazy. I thought that KSU had the clear advantage in quarterback going into the game, but Rocco Becht played way better than Avery Johnson, made way better decisions than Avery Johnson.
yeah. I don't know if I would say they'd had a clear advantage because I like Rocco a lot. Like even
I like
watching
him,
him
but
last year.
I mean, as far as highly touted
Sure.
goes, Avery Johnson was one of those guys that was in the top 15 in quarterbacks in his recruiting class.
Yeah, I mean, people were really hyping him up this year,
Yep.
and obviously it's week 0. Things are going to get worked out. It was sloppy. It was rainy. Things will change. So Kansas State fans, I wouldn't get too down on it. I know there was slop in there. I know there was some bad play calling and decision making and bad drops too. I mean, there was balls that absolutely should have been caught that weren't.
And one other thing that both coaches were concerned about, and they actually said it during the game, is that they both been on record as saying that they are more worried about the weeks after this game.
Sure.
With the travel, the jet lag, and everything else. This is very out of the norm for everybody on that football team on both sides. So they said they're more worried about next week and the following weeks to come and how long it takes everybody to recover from this long trip, doing all this and then having to do the long trip back.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt it's a lot to deal with. So we'll see how they recover, but you can't let a loss this early, destroy your season.
Right.
So we'll see how Kansas State recovers, and Iowa State, you're in a good position right now in the Big 12 race. So we'll see how that continues. Guys, again, anything you want to ask, drop it in the comments. We'll try to we're looking at them on the side here. We'll try to answer them. I'm not seeing anything on YouTube at the moment.
Yeah, you can only comment on YouTube and Facebook. So if you are on X and you want to make a comment, jump over to our Facebook or YouTube and look us up, and you can get your questions in.
Yeah, I'm trying to patrol Twitter as well, just in case. But all right, we're moving on. UNLV and Idaho State. God, this is one that I was like, listen, I know people had said the spread was too big, and I just thought that there was just going to be too much running ability and everything else from these quarterbacks. These
Yeah.
guys, these are guys that have played. It's not like they're. I know Alex Orgean,
Yeah.
like the passing.
Well, he was
guru,
he
but
like I said,
Calandria-
he's a bit of a window dressing. Like he's a runner only. They
Yeah.
weren't really going to use him all that much in the passing game
Yeah.
unless he was catching the ball or running the ball. But
it just, I don't know, man. Early on, it was ugly. And we said that too is one of the notes to the game for the keys for Idaho State. If they wanted to pull this upset, was you've got to catch them early, force turnovers. And I mean, Orgy came in, he threw 3 for 3. I mean, that was more than I've seen. And we're Michigan fans, right? Like this is more than we've seen from this guy. But we know he can run, and he ran it to the end zone. He fumbles the goddamn thing into the end zone after a nice hit on his arm. And then after that, it was just like, okay, Idaho State's moving. They scored 10 unanswered, and it looked dangerous for UNLV. The defense wasn't playing well. The offense wasn't gelling. I mean, finally Calandria got going, but I don't know. I have questions about this team. I'm not completely, out of the market on them yet. A lot of people are like, hey, they're done. They're cooked. It's over.
Look, UNLV is no longer one of those teams that I think of in the top of the group of 5 anymore, though.
Yeah, after
that performance, I'm sorry that you will have to do a lot to convince me that you're going to even be in the conversation of the group of 5 team that's going to represent.
Yeah, and
group
this
of 5
was
in the playoff.
This is what they brought in, a lot of talent. I mean, there's guys on this that are good. Like there's good players on this team, but it's so hard when you bring in so many new people to be ready to go and just to have the.
That's been well documented. I mean, when you do a roster flip or any sort of big transfer portal to a big influx of new personalities, I would say that overwhelmingly the statistics, would probably show that those teams don't fare well that first season of that large transfer portal class. Generally speaking.
I think this was against an FCS opponent. I know that they still a football team. It's still football being played on the field, but the talent level is different.
Yeah.
And they put up, I mean, Idaho State put up 555 yards, 395 in the air. And then, I mean, they had 28 minutes of possession on you. That is insane. They were getting pressure with only 3 men rushing, Trevor.
Yeah.
UNLV, you are in deep shit if you can't figure it out. And that's just being straight up with you. I mean, I think things can change around. Like I said, I'm not completely out on you guys, but Dan Mullen, you better get this thing figured out quick because that was pretty embarrassing.
Yes, it was.
I mean, there's no reason for that. 3 of 12 on third downs. Sure, you got your yardage too, especially when Calandria started, throwing it better. But eight penalties. I don't know. We'll see if they can get it cleaned up, Trev.
Yep.
Anything else on that one?
Nope.
All right, let's move along. Fresno State, Kansas, and this was one that we had some people picking them in the comments. We had people saying that Kansas was going down, but we're believers in Kansas and
Rock Chalk, baby. Rock Chalk.
Oh man, we got to get our. I'm waiting for Colton to show up in the comments.
Don't worry about it. Let's just keep on rolling.
It'll be there. But no, I mean, this one, it was a 12.5-point spread in favor of Kansas. And to me, this one I felt pretty confident in it. Fresno State, although I think they're a solid team, they just, I don't know, EJ Warner, he came in, he did all right, but still 2 picks. They couldn't run the ball well. And really the offense for Kansas, Trevor, was just flying around.
They were like from the jump. From the jump, they looked like they were actually ready to play. I would say that Fresno State's defense kind of got caught flat-footed a little bit.
Yeah.
I would imagine they probably assumed that they were going to start out slow, and really the time in between snaps was pretty quick for Kansas. They weren't using up the clock, the play clock very often. It was fairly quick. It wasn't rushed by any stretch, but they were moving. That first drive, they had a plan and they were executing it.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how many plays that first drive was, but it was less than 7, I believe, and they were in the end zone.
Yeah, I mean that first drive was nice, but for me, a couple of concerns for Kansas. I mean, look, it's a good win. It's a large margin. You beat the spread, but 2 of 10 on third downs. You did get 2 of 3 on fourth. But I thought they ran Daniels too much, and he's had injury history. That's a guy that you just, to me, let everybody else do the work around you, Trevor, and save his body. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know he's a dynamic, he's a runner, but
Yep. Well, I mean, yeah, I was not a fan of him running the way he was.
yeah,
Even on the plays where it kind of broke down a little bit, I felt like, so this is my biggest knock on Daniels as a quarterback. I feel like he has a problem with keeping his eyes downfield when the play breaks down. I think he has a knee-jerk reaction to run, which I don't blame him for necessarily. But I would like to see him kind of take over that, like entertain the idea of like being more like a Cam Ward, where I don't want to run, I want to throw the ball, and like just trying to extend the play long enough for him to actually make a play and get it to some of the other playmakers, just to try and save him a little bit. I feel like you said, save his body, do what you like. He needs to take it easy on the run in. First game, that was way too much running for him.
Now, like obviously, again, the Big 12 hit up the runs, but right now against Fred, I was just a little worried about that one. Funny comment here. We're gonna pull this one up. Fresno and KU. It's like college kicking a fat kid in Kmart. Oh my gosh. Like, and Colton, you might be right. Kansas might choke it away. They've been doing it lately, but last year they did come on hot at the end and they started knocking folks down. And they've got a streak to cancel on their horizon. They want to get you.
Well, now the Kansas State game ain't even going to be important because Kansas State's already 0-1.
Look what you're doing. Look what we're doing. All right, let's move on. All in good fun, right? We're moving on. We're going to talk Western Kentucky and Sam Houston, little Conference USA action here, starting it off. And this was honestly a fun game, really early, and this preseason we're talking about McIver coming in and just how is he going to adjust to this level. But we thought, hey, he's used to the offensive coordinator, that this is going to be a really good fit for him. And sure enough, this dude goes off for 400. He threw for 3 touchdowns. He ran for another. Now, the yardage, not crazy on the run. I was seven rushing yards, but still, you're able to do it on the legs and get that touchdown. But Matthew Henry was one that I was impressed with Western Kentucky. 7 receptions for 148. He had a touchdown. Really just a magnet for McIver. So I think there's a lot of things to like. We did a preview with our friends at College Football Focus about the Conference USA, and it's hard to bet against Western Kentucky with the offense if it's clicking. Trev, what did you think about this game, buddy?
I liked it for the most part. I thought that their run game could have been a little bit more prominent towards like the latter part of the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, 12 carries on 52 yards for Marvis Parrish. That was their leading rusher, I feel like. But I mean, when it's working, why try and fix something that ain't broke? So yeah, McFleur, Maverick. God bless it. Maverick, great. Like you said, 400 yards. And I mean, honestly, Hunter Watson had a pretty good game. He just, again, I feel like a lot of these games came down to who was turning the ball over at the end of the day. And
I agree with you on the running part. For Western Kentucky, I would like to see a little bit more there, and trying to eat more of the ground game and clock away. But like you said, if it's working, I mean, go get your points. To a point anyway. Sam Houston, though, I mean, they were moving the ball.
Yep.
It's not like they weren't having a horrible time. It's just they couldn't get done on third downs. I mean, 2 of 14 on third, 0 for 3 on fourth. They had 7 penalties, so those are killing drives. It was close late, and then things just started, finally pulling away there. But I think Sam Houston's going to be a strong team, somebody that you do not need to overlook. And they've been doing it since they've joined this league. If you remember the first year they came in, it was a struggle bus, Trev, but they've been rolling, and I like what the Sam Houston team is about. Yep. Anything else?
No, it was a good game. It was a good win for Western Kentucky, a good start to their season. So
yeah,
solid.
They're one to look for in the Conference USA. All right, last
Absolutely.
one, last game of the week. Week 0 is short, so this is gonna be a short episode, just a little primer. And Stanford, Hawaii, and this was one that I think a lot of people were excited about just because it's a Hawaii game. It's always the late game. It's a Hawaii test, is what everybody calls it.
Yeah.
And this one was like an appetizer too, because it was 6:30, Central. It was early. You didn't have to stay up till 1 a.m. trying to pry your eyes awake to watch it, but still fun game. A lot of craziness going on. Some stupidity down the line on the coaching side of it, in my opinion. Maybe a malpractice, if you will. But 23-20, Hawaii gets the win. They snap a losing record against the Power Four. We're going to show you our picks, our gridlocks here at the end, and then also our kicking it up a notch players and teams of the week. We'll do that. But Trev, what did you think about this Hawaii game? Stanford?
This was probably my favorite game of the weekend, hands down. Yeah. Like I love this game. I don't really necessarily love it for Stanford, but time to get serious about your football program. Yep. That's all I'm gonna say.
Get your money up. I don't know.
Yep. Time to get serious.
Do better.
But no, I was I've been hearing a lot of the offseason about the Micah Alejada, and I really loved watching this kid play. Playing through the injury of rolling his ankle, he played a great game, I thought, with minimal mistakes. I obviously didn't turn the ball over, which was great. And on the flip side of that coin, Stanford, Gulbranson, I was super disappointed. I thought he did not have his best game. That being said, they called it. I felt like they called a fairly smart game. Like I thought the beginning of the game, Stanford was calling a really good game, keeping ball control, running the ball, and then they had a couple. They had the interception from Gulbranson, and like they just got out of rhythm after that first or second drive. I think it was that they got out of rhythm, and honestly, I was very surprised that Hawaii, for lack of a better term, outplayed them. But Michael Ford had a phenomenal game on the Stanford side with 26 carries, 113 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah, I think it's clear for Hawaii that they have their guy in Alejado. And like early, he did have the one miscue in the end zone. Mm-hmm. And from the camera angle, I was like, they say he's 5'10". Can this guy even see over the freaking line? But I know the year before he had a really great performance in one of his games. So it's like, it's going to come out, just win. And then finally things started settling down. He was passing it really well, making quick reads. And I
thought he looked very mature. Like he was did not look like a young guy making his second official start as a starting quarterback.
Yeah, I think he stepped up to the plate really well. Yeah, and after the injury, he didn't fold like some people would.
He showed great leadership for sure.
He got in there. He was still running on the bum ankle. He threw for 210, 2 touchdowns, and it was clutch moments, and especially on the closing drive there. Ashlock had a good game. Jackson Harris had a good game for them. I'd like to see them run a little bit more. With what they were doing. I know Sims he had 7 carries for 12 yards. Like that's not going to get it done, but others in the backfield were getting it done, and so was Alejado. But on the Stanford side, man, Gulbranson could not handle pressure, and Hawaii found that out early.
Yeah,
and they were on him like white on rice, man. They could not.
they got him shook, and they never let him get out of it.
And the sacks didn't come, but the pressures were there, and that's enough to make him throw these dwarfs into the ground and like these Nerf passes. Like, what the hell is going on? I'm curious if Andrew Luck and company over there in Stanford might do a change to the young talented guy. I
don't know if they're going to pull that trigger just yet, but they have one more loss, and you're going to have to figure something else out.
Yeah, we said in the preview that is it worth getting your young talented quarterback, getting him all shook up and torn up when you're expecting your team to be, for lack of a better term, ass. Like,
right?
You don't want to get him torn to pieces. But I'll say Micah Ford, that dude's talented. He runs
very
hard and mean. I like that guy a lot.
I will be curious to see how his production is when they get into Big 12 play. on if he's still able to get those runs, because that tells me a lot about the offensive line and him. If
Yeah.
he can still continue this kind of production once we get into Big 12 play.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with that, and or I guess the ACC, right?
What?
For
Oh,
Stanford
ACC, not Big 12.
No,
Oh,
I got the
God.
Big 12
Yeah,
on
you
my
know what I
mind
meant.
too, man. I feel you.
There's more games with the Big 12. I was thinking Big 12 right there.
Well, the Big 12 is so crazy. You know, we talked about obviously Kansas State and Iowa State earlier.
But no, I meant the ACC, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter because they got a lot of things to iron out at Stanford, regardless of who they're playing.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter what coast they're claiming here or playing on. They've got problems.
Yeah.
We'll see what Andrew Luck can work out. All right. Anything on this game or anything else that we might have missed on those, Trev?
Now, the only thing I'll say is Hawaii needs to be careful with allowing Alahado to run the way he was doing.
Yeah, I mean,
be very careful about
preserve him at all costs.
He's a very good young quarterback, and you don't want to mess that up.
I thought this was a good comment right here. ACC is the Big 12 without the excitement.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Clemson at least at the top, and then everybody else, right, fighting for that other position, except for Stanford.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe Florida State, depending on how. I'm just kidding. I think they're gonna have a turnaround. But
so now that we've gotten through all the games, Brandon, let's take a look at the pick'em results.
Yeah, let's throw them up there. I mean, you get to dust it off there a little bit. 5-0 coming out of the gate, Trev.
Yep.
Hey man, I'm proud of you. That's a hell of a week, and next week's gonna be just so much tougher.
There's a lot of really good games happening next week. It's gonna be crazy.
Week 1's gonna be a lot of fun, guys. Pick'em's gonna be getting harder as we go, and we'll talk about that. That's usually Tuesday night. We record those, previews, and we'll have that out. Just kind of what we thought, but overall,
so you guys can look for that episode on Wednesday morning.
Yeah, not a bad week from all of us. You guys nailed your gridlocks as well. I rode hard on the Kansas State train and they let me down. Something when I cling to a team, they fail me. It's like Texas Tech did it, Kansas State's doing it. Damn it, Colton, where you get your guys going, man. I don't know. We'll lock in and I'll do better. Last year I think I got the dub on it, or maybe you did at the end. I can't remember.
What's that?
On the gridlocks.
Oh, dude, I haven't won either one since we've been doing it.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
And
this is the quote right here. Colty over here is definitely putting it out in the universe. I definitely needed that head start.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm the comeback kid now. I can cling on to that again.
At least this
week 0, and I can do it. All right, and then finally, it is our kicking it up a notch player team of the week, and sometimes we throw 2 of them in there, and you had to talk about them for the players of the week. Jaden Thomas and then Maverick McIver. Jaden, he went for 147. He had 3 touchdowns, and it stopped his team from losing to an FCS squad. He really, I feel like he lit the spark on that UNLV squad, and just a huge performance from him. And then obviously we talked about Maverick earlier. 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, and then 1 against Sam Houston in the conference foe.
That's right.
And then Hawaii, man. To me, it's got to be Hawaii. Yeah,
it's only Hawaii. I mean, you could make a case for Iowa State because that was a huge game for them to kick off their season with, but it was Hawaii beating Stanford for sure, in my opinion.
To me, there's just so much riding on that for their coaching staff and for these players, like buying in, the fans in Hawaii.
Exactly.
I mean, the stadium, it looked pretty full from what I saw. I think they were excited about the game and in going out and winning that, snapping the streak against the Power 4, snapping the streak against Stanford. Just a huge win for them. Absolutely. And I'm excited to see what they do the rest of this season. Reading the comments on what Jake said. I was on Brendan's back and he dropped me on my grid line. Yeah, I am sorry. Typically I'm pretty solid at them, Jake, but I failed this week. And remember,
this week will be a lot more fun. This will be a lot more fun with the gridlocks because there'll be random games everywhere.
Yeah, and just remember, I'm not a gambling man, but I did once in college and went from like a 60 on one of my grades to a 90, so that was pretty cool. But don't tell my wife. And then outside of that, we were not financial advisors, even though we did pretty well. Don't tell us. Don't bet money on what we say unless you want to. So
Nope.
I legally have to say that for our sponsors. All right, guys. I think that's it for the week 0, Trev.
Yeah.
Good to be back, guys. It's fun doing these live shows and seeing the comments pop up. Yes, I agree. I can't wait to see that too. Hawaii's such a cool place, man. They can
It
get this
is.
thing going again. It's going to be special.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's good to be back talking football. And, after the off season, it's such a grind, just going through it and doing all the previews and looking at these teams and notes. And I mean, it adds up, Trev. So
Yep.
we're glad to be talking ball and not hypotheticals anymore.
Yeah. So we appreciate everybody coming on tonight, and those of you that are watching on X, don't forget to go subscribe and like at YouTube and Facebook. We do appreciate it. It does help us out a lot.
Absolutely. And we do appreciate your time. Appreciate you subscribing and following, all that good stuff. We'll see you around on the socials, and look for that preview. It's coming out soon.
Take it easy, everybody.
Week 1 on its way.